value in inspiration. Like inspiration, it makes you feel something. It influences you. It stimulates you to go out there and do something creative. It can be the spark of an ever-burning flame. The need for inspiration is very real, but you shouldn't limit how you're inspired or where you look for inspiration. So as a graphic designer, I'm not just, Googling things. I'm not just on Pinterest or Instagram looking for things. I'm going out to the real world and finding inspiration there, like through everyday life. You never know what will spark an idea. So as a graphic designer by trade, like I really, I'm inspired by the designers that I follow, different work that I see, whether it be on Dribble or Instagram, Pinterest, on Twitter, what people are sharing, new work that I'm seeing. Like I'm always inspired by that, but I'm also inspired by, everyday life, going out there and seeing, the work in the real world. For example, like if let's say you're doing a brand identity project for a city, like of course you're going to look at other cities, you're going to look at how they do their branding, like what kind of logos, represent a municipality, things of that nature. But, the more important thing is to actually go in and walk in the city that you're going to be designing for. So if you're designing like, let's take my hometown of Greensboro, North Carolina, the bustling metropolis. So if I were doing a logo for them, I would go to the various landmarks in Greensboro. Like I would feel the city, I would get the vibe, like what are the important things, like visually, what are the things that tie different landmarks together, what ties the city together, like what's the personality, what's the scenery. Like you would take pictures of that and then use those as a reference when you're doing your design concepts. When you're trying to capture a specific locale, you want to know as much about that as possible, because then you can integrate the things you see in the designs that you create. I mean, in general, looking at different logos, if I'm trying to design a logo and then I'm going to look at other logos because I want the thing that I design to be able to stand within that pantheon. However, I really want to challenge myself to interpret the real life things in my own unique way. You want to capture your originality. You want to be unique. You want to capture that from your own perspective. I mean, because, anybody who pays any attention to sports, there are a lot of Panthers, there are a lot of Tigers, there, your Lions and all that. But each of them are unique because the designer of those had their own perspective that they were pumping out there. Every project you may take on may not have a design that you can look at as a reference. Like a project you're taking on may actually be a project no one's ever done. So you can't just be like, well, if I don't have a guide to how to design for this or to how to create this, then I'm just not going to do it. No, you have to pull from the references that you can and create something that's, unique to you and unique to that project. Because that's how you're going to create something that's going to last. It's going to be something that's really cherished. Like I designed for the national conventions for Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma. Like, of course, I look at, what other fraternities and sororities are doing, but really, like, well, my major inspirations are coming from, like, the Super Bowl, Final Four. I know I used the Kentucky Derby for the one in 2015. Like, I'm pulling from the major events, in America, because I want what I do to be able to stand under that, because that's how much of an importance I put on those national conventions, because I love those organizations so much. So that's going to be the visuals that people see when they arrive, the visuals they see when we're promoting it. So I want it to be as epic as humanly possible. Be inspired by great work that crosses all genres, all styles, all markets. Don't limit yourself. Open yourself up to as much inspiration as possible, but make sure that at the end you are pulling from within yourself. Like, you're using the inspiration, but you're not using what you're looking for as a crutch, because you're using it as, somewhat of a guide, somewhat as a spark, and then that triggers you to be on your own journey to find what you want to provide. To be the best version of yourself, keep your mind and your eyes open. That's it for this episode of Run the Layers. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and check out the other videos on this channel. Spread the word, and I'll see you next time.